What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS First Look podcast. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, but you can find on Twitter at Wise_Take, on Instagram and Facebook at WiseTake without the underscore, on YouTube, youtube.com/WiseTake, Twitch, twitch.tv/WiseTake. We are everywhere, and we are ready to take over the DFS industry. We are a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. Was not a great slate for me last night, but after having a really strong slate the night before and having another strong one a couple days before that, I can live with it. I'm gonna move on. And it wasn't so much of the stuff I liked didn't do great, it was more the stuff I didn't have that did, such as Zach LaVine, LaMarcus Aldridge. I tried to go underweight just because I knew they were going to be really chalky, and they were indeed really chalky. And unfortunately for me, and fortunately for the 50% and 60% that did play them, they both went nuts. So shout out to you if you did. Big fuck you to me for not. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, shout out to the nation, man. You guys have been extremely supportive of everything we try. We are trying to climb this mountain. Undermanned, outnumbered, but it don't matter though, because we're real people though, and we connect with real people. That's what we are. We are the WiseTake Nation, home of the real ass motherfuckers, right? Let's get into this slate. The last slate. Well, not the last slate, the last real slate before the All-Star break. And I say that because Thursday we have a 2-game slate. This Tuesday we have an 11-game slate on Wednesday. 11-game slate on Wednesday. And some interesting matchups all across the board. We got Detroit at Orlando, Atlanta at Cleveland, Washington at New York, Milwaukee without Giannis, but at Indiana, Toronto, this time at Brooklyn, rematch, obviously this time it's in Brooklyn, Charlotte against D'Lo, and D'Lo's home opener, his home debut. Damian Lillard, after New Orleans just trounced Portland, they will now travel into Memphis. Luka Doncic makes his return to Sacramento, visits Dallas. Miami will visit Utah as they continue their West Coast road trip. Golden State will play Phoenix, and Devin Booker will look to bounce back after a shitty performance. The Lakers will visit Denver as the late night hammer. Just a little cherry on top. It's late. It is late. That's when we do these first looks. Why? Because we want to make sure that we get a head start on the game. We get a head start on the slate. I want to wake up in the morning with y'all and already have a clue of where I'm looking and what I'm waiting for, what I'm looking for. At least to hold us over until we get to that midday show, which is on YouTube. Hopefully you will check that out on the YouTube channel. The early look. We'll pull up the projections and do the dirty. Going position by position, we got Luka at 10-9, LeBron James at 10-6, Trae Young at 10-4, Damian Lillard at 10-2. That is a stacked upper tier. Luka in his first game back after injury. The matchup's fine, right? Against the Kings. The question is Luka rusty? The question is Luka still Luka right out the gate? Does Luka still get the minutes right out the gate? A lot of question marks. One of the highest ceilings on the slate. LeBron James at 10-6. In a game you would expect to be close against Denver in Denver. However, it could be tough. It could be tough for anyone going into Denver with the altitude. Trae Young. And a phenomenal spot against Cleveland. Cleveland not a fast-paced team necessarily, but their defense makes up for it. They are horrendous on defense, particularly the point guards. Point guards have sliced them up all season. Damian Lillard against Memphis is just another spot that we like to attack point guards with. Memphis not good against centers. Memphis not playing good defense generally. Damian Lillard coming off of a game in which his team was just trounced. Revenge on the mind? Maybe. Mentioned Devin Booker in a spot where I'm sure he's hoping to bounce back in. 8,400 at home against Golden State. He was pretty bad against those Lakers. No DeAndre Ayton, so the pressure was on, I guess. Got 32 minutes, shot 2 for 11 from the field. The worst part about it is Mikal Bridges was actually on. D'Lo is 8,300 against Charlotte. Not a great pace. D'Lo wasn't as aggressive as I think we all would have thought in his 32 minutes for the first time with Toronto. This is a home opener. I would assume the crowd is going to give him a warm welcome because they actually have a player whose name they recognize. And they had to have been ready to part with Andrew Wiggins, right? Expect him to do the dirty with Cat, doing a pick and roll all day long. The pace is going to suck. The matchup is fine as far as defense. Charlotte, terrible defensively, especially against bigs. Seems pretty good to me. No defense on either side of that game. I guess we should hit on Eric Bledsoe at 7-7. Without Giannis, we know normally the recipe to success is to plug in Bledsoe, is to plug in Middleton. But they're expensive, man. Bledsoe 7-7 against the Pacers. Middleton, I think 8-8 against the Pacers, a team that supposedly plays some good defense. Oladipo's back. That could help. Could. Doesn't mean it will, but it could. It'd be different if they were playing like the Hawks. If they were playing Washington, something like that. But they're not. They're playing the Pacers. Situation we'll have to analyze. Devontae Graham's kind of interesting at 7-4. Second game in a row where he's played really well. 7-4 is expensive, but he is going to be paced up, and he's going to have a plus matchup against D'Lo, who is not known for his defense. That is not what the D stands for in D'Lo, unless you're referring to how low his defensive skills are. But I'm not trying to rag on D'Lo. That's not what this is about. Brogdon revenge against Milwaukee, against his buddies. Brogdon coming off a really terrible game in a phenomenal matchup against Brooklyn. Was 3 for 11 from the field. Only 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Just didn't do shit. Was worthless. Sucked ass. But I will probably be interested for the revenge narrative. And simply because he's going to be paced up and he's only 6'7". With Debo back, I expect at some point the usage to be rocked up, shaken up on this team. But I think this price is just too good. Too damn good. Karis LeVert is 6'6", a little more reasonable. I don't give a damn that he played like shit against Toronto, against the Pacers last time out. Last time we saw this Toronto team, dirties were done. Sevens were dropped. 51.25 DraftKings points. That's how that ended. That's how that was. Reggie Jackson had another one of his 2 for 11 type games in what was a horrendous outing against Charlotte. But the usage has been good. With Drummond gone, we expect it to stay there. I'm interested at 6'3" and Reggie. I'm interested. Enough of point guards. Bradley Beal against the Knicks. Knicks in a peso spot. Holla. This position's not pretty. I don't love it. Devin Booker we talked about. I mean, he'd be, as of right now, he kind of feels like the way to go. CJ McCollum's interesting at 6'8". Kevin Huerter. Shout out to the nation for getting me to say his name right. Kevin Huerter, 6'2". Wow. I don't have interest in 6'2". but I wanted to show you guys that I listen and that I know how to say his name. Terry Rozier is 6'1", has not played particularly well, but again, phenomenal matchup, I believe. Oladipo's 4'8". He ain't been playing like Oladipo. The usage is there, it's just the efficiency that we're missing. 35.7% from the field. In the last game, 2 for 6 from 3. 27 minutes. Pace up spot. I can get me some. Recommend you do the same. What did Malik do? Malik got 32 minutes. He was still pretty aggressive. Didn't take as many shots, but he was still pretty aggressive. I like that. You go do your thing, Malik. RJ Barrett, 4,500. Played 22 minutes against Atlanta. They're really easing him in. 4,500 is real cheap against Washington, man. But if they're going to ease him in like that, could put us in a weird spot. Kyle Anderson's been playing okay, but now his price is at a point where it's not nearly as exciting, to say the least. Shabazz, 4,100. 19 minutes against the Bulls. At some point, man, I just feel like he's going to overtake Ish Smith for that job. But at what point does it happen? Kelly Oubre came off the bench in the last game. I don't know what that was about. Maybe because Ayton was out, they wanted to have somebody on the second unit to kind of man the fort. The experiment did not go very well for anyone involved, except for the Lakers on the other side of that game. LeVert is looking stronger and stronger, even at this position. I've seen him, at power forward was cool, but not. At point guard was cool, but not like. I wasn't like overexcited. Seen him a small forward relative to the guys around him. Me lucky. Dylan Brooks, man, he shit the bed the other day, real bad at 4,900 against Washington. Curious to see what his ownership is today. At this, if Ibaka's out, not to switch subjects, but to switch subjects. If Ibaka is out, OG Anunoby balled out. Now he was 10 for 13 from the field. Keep that in mind. But the 12 rebounds were nice because the double-double, at the very least, is the thing. His price significantly higher, and that really came from Ibaka being out. Remember that. Not a ton that passes the eye test. Not a ton that stands out as I look at this that I'm excited to play. Kevin Porter Jr. actually, 4-3. I could do that for value. He's gotten 28, 31, 30, 24, and 24 minutes. He's playing minutes. Been fairly active. Not a massive usage player, but the floor so far from what we've seen has been actually decent for a $4,300 price tag. I like it. That'll do. Sabonis went for 58 against Brooklyn. He's playing Milwaukee with no Giannis. Pretty interesting. Collins seemed a little expensive at this point. Can't say he didn't earn it the other day against the Knicks, but against Orlando, came back down to reality when you don't got 2 overtimes to get you to where you need to go. Siakam looked really good with no Ibaka. Keep an eye on his status once again. Christian Wood, 7-1. Christian Wood did not do well. Got 23 minutes against Charlotte. It was a rough situation. Very slow game. Very ugly game. They're playing Orlando. Another ugly opponent. Another slow opponent. But his price is a little bit cheaper than it was, right? Yeah, it was. It was. Check Diallo is 5K. Check Diallo played 39 minutes against the Lakers. That was the strangest thing I think I'd ever seen. I get it, he's the only big they had, but that was just strange. To take a guy that can barely make your rotation in general, and you play him almost 40 minutes against. I understand it. You were playing a very big team. I mean, I guess I should be saying props to you for trying to win. You're obviously trying to win, by all means. If Ibaka's out, I could go back to Rondé Hollis-Jefferson. His price is up to 4.4, but he went for 36, and that's still good at this price, right? You know, if you want some value, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, 3,900, he's playing his brother, the Hernan-Gomez brothers. I believe are about to play each other. Is that right? Yes, sir. Hernan Goat on Hernan Goat. I mean, they play different positions, but I can get behind this, man. He's been starting, assuming he continues to start. His minutes have been okay, 26, 27, 28. If we don't have any value, I can consider this. 25, 23, 23 in each of his last 3 games. He's not necessarily like smashing his price, but he is giving you reasonable returns, and if he happens to have an efficient game, he can get you there. Juancho. How about James Johnson? Neck tat. Got 20 minutes against the Clippers, went for 31. Got 28 against Toronto, went for 20. Cheap price, 3,500. We got plenty of value with Minnesota. The problem, of course, is this game is ass. Because of Charlotte, they're great to attack defensively, but they play so slow. So slow. It's very frustrating. Mo Wagner, 4,500 against the Knicks. He kind of disappointed me against Chicago. He got 27 minutes, which is what we thought he'd get, but he just didn't do much with it. Maybe it's time for, maybe he's in a bounce back spot, but I'm a little pissed. He got some negative to do for me. Rounded it out with centers. Karl-Anthony Towns in a smash spot against Charlotte. Jokic in an interesting spot against the Lakers. Drummond, 9-4 with his new team against Atlanta. Ayton is 9,200. He's questionable with an ankle injury. Oh, man. Are we going to end up having to pay $5K for Diallo if Ayton is out? I mean, Golden State, they're not a big team. I guess Phoenix can find a way to go small, right? Right? Or is Diallo looking at, if Diallo's looking at, 24 minutes at 5K, maybe for tournaments, right? But if Diallo's looking at 30 plus against Golden State, that's kind of interesting. Vooch against Detroit, against Thin Man, because there's no more Drummond there. Drummond's against Atlanta. Did I mention that? I think I did. It's late. Joe Val. I do like Joe Val at 7-3. The reason I like Joe Val is because when he's playing against another big center, he typically gets more of a ceiling in minutes. His last great game was against Detroit before Andre Drummond got traded. He went for 59. Whiteside is not a good defender. He's just big. I can get some of that. If Ibaka does play, by the way, it's 6'3". I'm interested in that. Marquise Chris in a revenge spot against the Suns. Oh, dear. And Marquise Chris has played well. I like this. And not for nothing, but keep an eye on this situation, because Steve Kerr's been known to ride those narratives, right? He started Jordan Bell out of nowhere because he was in his hometown. Jordan Bell went nuts that day. So just keep that in mind. Chris has been starting at center. He's only getting 27. He's been very active for him, just missing double-doubles in each of his last 2 games. And whether Ayton plays or not, Phoenix is still not good against center. So if Ayton is ruled out, which I would be surprised if he played at this point based on how bad that ankle injury sounded, that could be juicy. Marquise Chris. How about that? That's going to do it, I think. I'm going to cut it there. It's been real. As always, Nation, make sure you check in the morning, I think at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, for the early look on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/WiseTake. I'll make sure to have the projections ready. They'll be ready. With that said, If you're listening to this on YouTube, if you can hit that like button, it goes a long way, really helps us out. Make sure you're subscribed. Check out all of our NBA shows. We do a ton of them Monday through Friday, and this is the last real slate, so make sure you don't miss it and come check it out. With that said, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.